Is there extra pressure on Ohio State in 2024? There's always pressure, and we'll talk about that here in just a second. But you look at what they've done this past offseason. You just hired Chip Kelly, who was not just a head coach. He was a head coach in the same conference as you, with UCLA moving to the Big Ten. You go to the portal, make some high-profile ads with Will Howard, Caleb Downs, Julian Sayin, who's a five-star quarterback from the class of 2024. So all these things are sort of coming together that I think deserve us answering the question of what kind of pressure, what kind of extra pressure is on Ohio State this upcoming season. We'll talk about it right now. Ohio State Buckeye fans, you've been in the news lately for a lot of good reasons, quite honestly, with what you've done through the portal, with hiring Chip Kelly. We've had a lot of y'all subscribe to this channel. If you have not yet subscribed, make sure you're locked in right here. Heck, double check that you're subscribed to this channel, because we talk college football every single day, live on the air tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern. Also, Wednesday and Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern. Want y'all dialed in, make sure you subscribe. We appreciate you so much for that. So here's the ultimate question. Here's kind of where I want to start this thing. Is there pressure on Ohio State in 2024? Yes, but not because of what they've done this past offseason. We'll get to that in a second. There's always pressure on Ohio State. Like, the standard at Ohio State is just absurdly high. The bar is higher in Columbus than it is, I would argue, anywhere else, or as high as anywhere else in the country. The expectation is to beat Michigan, which is a much more difficult task given the way that Michigan has moved this past couple of seasons and now won the national championship last year. So you got to beat Michigan, you got to win the Big Ten, you got to win a national championship, no pressure. That's not just the that is the standard there. That's the expectation and the standard, not something that's like, oh, in a good year that happens. It's like every single year they expect that to happen in Columbus. And it's not an expectation purely based in the brand and the logo. That's a part of it. But I think also with Ohio State, like, you can expect that because of what you put in your football program, the way they attack it on the recruiting trail, the way they attack it via the portal. And so it's not just the expectations around Ohio State overall, it's the current state of the program. And on top of that, the lack of success the last couple of years, the lack of achieving that standard, especially against Michigan going 0-3 the last 3 seasons, it's a big deal. Like, anytime you miss the bar a couple of times in a row, yes, the pressure starts to turn up a little bit. But on top of that, the more noise you make, the more attention you get just with anything in life. And the more attention you get, the more pressure you have. The broader that spotlight is, the more pressure there is. And Ohio State, they've made a lot of high-profile noise over the course of this offseason. I mean, you go and add, like I just said, not just a head coach, a Big Ten head coach in Chip Kelly to be your offensive coordinator. You go and get one of the best quarterbacks in the transfer portal in Will Howard. You go and get the best player in the transfer portal in Caleb Downs. You go and get the best running back in Quinshon Judkins. You go and grab a 5-star quarterback from the 2024 class via the portal from Alabama and Julian Sayin. So all these things are coming together here to create this massive movie poster for 2024. Because that's what Ohio State now has put together here. A cast of characters and star-studded cast that people are going to expect very big things out of in 2024. And they should. Again, not just because of the brand, because of the ingredients they have on this roster. So you couple that with what Michigan's done, which is, again, the first part of your goals in 2024 and every single year is to beat that team. And you look at what they've done over the course of the last couple of seasons, most notably this past season winning the national championship, but then in 2024, how it shakes out on paper. Because, yes, they won the national championship, but it feels like for Ohio State, there has never been, at least in recent memory, a more vulnerable in some ways, or unproven, rather, Michigan team. They are 128th in returning production in the country. Y'all, there is only 134 teams. You have a new quarterback. You have a new head coach. You have a new defensive coordinator. All of these things that are new piecing together from Michigan, if you're Ohio State, you feel like, okay, well, we feel pretty good about where we stand heading into the season. We feel good about our roster. We've got a lot of proven commodities on this team that are set up to do some good things in 2024. And optics, in a lot of ways, I think, determine how we feel in college football. Just as a college football public, the way things look is the way that we feel, especially at this point during the year where they're not playing games and we're pretty much going off of a very recent sample size. And the sample size is Ohio State's added a ton of talent. I think the feeling for Ohio State fans to add to the pressure of this season with the way Michigan is, with what you've done over the course of this offseason, with what hasn't happened the last couple of years. Okay, if not now, with how stacked this team is on paper and how down Michigan is on paper or unproven Michigan is on paper, when? When's it going to happen? If it's not happening this year, when's it going to happen? And we have been very, very vocal saying we wholeheartedly believe Ryan Day is one of the best coaches in college football. Heck, I put up my top 5 college football coaches right now, and Ryan Day was, I think, number 4 for us. So we believe in Ryan Day. But that doesn't take away from the fact that the expectations in Columbus have not been met over the course of the last couple of seasons. So is there pressure in Columbus? Of course, every single year there is. But with all the noise they've made and all the big moves they've made, I think that pressure has been turned up even a little bit more in 2024. So remember now, with this 12-team playoff, Ohio State, if for whatever reason they do lose to Michigan, I'm not predicting, I'm saying if it happens, they're not out of the dance. They could still be, in fact, I'd be surprised if they're not in that 12-team playoff. And so that widens the path a little bit more. It's steeper to get to the national championship, no doubt about it, but it's a little bit more of a wider path. In some ways, I think that creates even more opportunity that could also create more pressure for Ryan Day and Ohio State in 24. So, as always, there's a ton of pressure in Columbus, but I think maybe just a little extra layer of that this upcoming season. So I can't wait to watch it. Can't wait to talk about it. Of course, we will analyze the absolute heck out of it all the way through this winter, all the way into and through spring football, and obviously taking us into the fall. Make sure you're subscribed right here so you don't miss a minute of what we got going on right here on this channel. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Going to keep this party rolling. We will see y'all next time. Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.